opportunity to like, you have it, you know, I was like, you know what, let's have 2 likes and see if that's like, and then he's like, oh, that's cool. Wait, let's put a delay on that one. Yeah, that's cool. And then JC would help out with, you know, all the POW and all the cool geeky stuff. That I was just too impatient to, you know. And then the actual movement of it, I didn't know which side would be the alter ego side and which would be the more sort of present person that kind of, you know how like you have the 2 thoughts in your head where, you know, somebody walks in looking crazy and they're looking at you like, please like what I have on, and you're like, that looks great, and you're going, oh my God! Voices. I was like, those conversations, right? So it was born out of that necessity, but the movement of it is, it's like I get to mix in my head as I sing. It's the only way I can explain it.
She always says whatever she wants.
Thank you again. It was just magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next victim, hi. Hi, Alonzo.
Hey.
My question is, Lisa, how can I ease the pain? And I want to download that music. And then my second question is, Lisa, how does it feel to be the muse for this fabulous production? I mean,
it's almost like having the 2 mics. There's the, you know, one side of how you feel and the other side of how you wish you could. And I walk around during the day and I don't feel like a muse. I just feel like I'm a part of the beautiful scenery of the world and equal to everything, you know. And then we sort of are gifts to each other. But all of that to me is this kind of rhythm that's all equal. So kind of being called a muse is a little weird. But it's beautiful to kind of like play with the idea of being this entity of farce of beautiful dancers, and you get to observe, and they get to live their truths through their bodies, and you observe it. And so I don't necessarily feel like I'm a muse, but I feel like a blessed observer, you know?
I don't know what you said, girl, but I love this.
So as a dancer person, I'm interested in hearing about the voice in the body and the body in the voice. And what was the process, or was there a process with the dancers around, you know, bodying that voice in some way, shape, or form? Like what? Because to me, looking at it, I could see it in certain places, just really, really clearly. You know, a partner somebody would just kind of ride whatever you were doing or whatever you were doing, kind of, you know, down into what it was. So I'm imagining that there was some kind of ongoing conversation about where you are in your body with that voice, or vice versa for you. Thank you, because this was just great.
Thank you. I think that is the occupation and the obsession all the time. Because the dancing is based on your artistic voice. The voice, anyone's voice, is a frequency. You can tell when people are mean, you can tell when they're kind, you can tell when they're cerebral, you can tell when they're erotic. It's all in the tone of voice. It's something you can't hide. Even when you're trying to mask your voice in the way that radio people or TV announcers do, you still hear the essence of the person. Dancers dance who they are. There's no way around it. And so they know that they're exposed, and this thing that comes out of the voice is directly connected to their artistic making. It's the voice. And so often in training, that thing is avoided. You'll see dancers who have the mechanics, but there's no voice. And so it's something that they've been obsessed with since they decided that they have opinions. The reach for vocalizing what's happening internally, some of the dancers were so excited about it, and some were incredibly freaked out. And Lisa, first day began teaching songs and saying, "Oh, that's a beautiful voice, that's a beautiful voice." We're so trapped in what pretty is and good and bad, and she was saying, "This is a beautiful sound, that's interesting what you're doing over there." And I think that validation freed a lot of people up. And then they realized that, what is the same thing? If I lost my legs, I would paint. If I couldn't paint, I would blah, blah, blah. So that creativity would be forced into another form. And so having to utilize that vocal was, just another part of the palette for some, and a place of interest, because why am I afraid to do this? And so if I am afraid to do this vocally, it means somewhere I'm afraid to do it physically. So this is something to think about.
So I've had the extreme privilege to see you perform a couple times this year. And I'm speaking for Lisa too. And I guess in seeing some of your songs performed when it's you and your band and then you are the center and you're commanding attention versus seeing you perform some of them here, how do you play with deciding how much you are, I guess, the core and the focus versus a support, and how do you approach singing these songs that you do sing regularly differently depending on the setting and interacting with the dancers versus with your band?
I feel exactly the same when I am what is considered being in front of the band. And the way that I see it is I'm playing with these three amazing musicians when we're doing our stuff. It's a conversation for me, and the only thing that feels different in this situation is that my view is different. My landscape is different, but I'm still using everything that I use when the three of us are playing. It's still all the same. It comes from the same place, and it feels the same way. And I think it's really more the viewpoint of the person looking in. It all feels like flying to me. When I'm walking, kind of longing, singing, dancing, giving energy to the dancers like they're giving me their energy. It's this constant exchange, and it's the same with my time as well.
First and foremost, I want to say it was a wonderful performance. Secondly, men can actually ask questions too, so. I'm curious. It was so moving what you were, the whole performance in general, but as an audience, what is it that you had in mind that you wanted us to walk away from? And how can we carry out what that mission is as other people come and see this wonderful performance? Thank you.
I think that each one of us, singing, composer, choreographer, there was a point in our lives where we saw singing, composing, choreography, and everything stopped. And we knew that life was So there was a change, there was a shift. Things became clear, and we saw a path. And I think art is to communicate to people, you too are an artist. In any ways that you have been stuck, or in walls, or doubted yourself, break out. It's to ignite others. It's so that the human being who came into the theater is a different human being when they leave the theater. When people are moving, that is action. And so those actions come from thoughts. And these artists are telling us ways to think, ways to move. I want to be that honest. I want to be that brave. I want to be that vulnerable. I want to be that conscientious. I realize now that if this human being can, so can I. And so sometimes it's a slap in the face, aesthetic shock. And it changes you. And so that's the point. That's the point to strike the fire in others and memory. Human beings are amazing. We can do the most heinous and the most incredible. So we make a choice. Thank you all so much for coming.